Welcome to According to Sam, folks. This is episode 174, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Happy New Year. This is the first show of 2024. Really excited about getting this year started, and I have a great show for you today. I don't want to waste any time doing anything else. I'll be doing this show today. There'll be another show on Monday, and you can expect According to Sam every Friday and Monday moving forward. This is going to be a crazy year. It's already starting off really crazy. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that has already happened in the beginning of this year. Again, I have a great show for you today. Thank you guys for watching, and let's get right into it. Now, if you remember, if you watched episode 173, my last podcast, I started talking about this idea of, it's not an idea, it's reality. The reality of wickedness, what wickedness is, the definition and etymology of wicked. We went back and looked at, how wicked was translated in the Bible, what words were translated into English into wicked. And we started talking about the craft. Now, if you remember, we identified the craft going back to the 3rd chapter in the book of Genesis in the 1st verse. And this is where the story of where Satan, as a serpent, enters the garden where the first man and woman are created, and Satan deceives. He tricks the man and the woman into eating the fruit of the tree. And in that verse, the word crafty is used. It says that the serpent was more crafty than any of the other wild animals which God had made in the garden. So this word crafty is where we get the word witchcraft. That's where witchcraft comes from. And you're going to hear me speaking about it as just the craft. So when you hear me talking about the craft, I'm talking about witchcraft. I also mentioned, you remember I called it a TV show, in the last podcast, but I think it's a movie, The Craft, and it's about these young teenage witches that are participating in the craft. So we discussed all that in the last podcast, and I'm going to pick up where I left off in that podcast. Well, not where I left off, because we started getting into some news about January 6th at the end of that podcast. And we'll probably start talking more about January 6th on Monday, because tomorrow Joe Biden's doing this speech at Valley Forge, where he's going to outline the threats to democracy and white supremacy and all this stuff. Tomorrow is the anniversary of January 6th. So we'll probably cover some of that again on Monday. But picking up on last podcast in what we were talking about in regards to the craft, we're going to get back into that in this podcast. And I want to start by saying that I made a mistake in my last podcast that I want to clarify, and clarifying this mistake is going to give me the opportunity to talk about a very, very important subject that we all have to be aware of in 2024. Now, what was the mistake that I made? The mistake that I made was playing this clip in my last podcast. I briefly played it, and I said, this was Britney Spears, and she was doing Witchcraft, and that's Madonna doing Witchcraft. And then there's one of Beyonce doing Witchcraft, and Rihanna. And this clip is a fake clip. This is counterintelligence. And this is an issue that I want to start the podcast talking about counterintelligence, because I think it's very, very important in this age that we're in to understand counterintelligence. Now, they say this is AI, and in the age of AI, I think that this is one of the things that AI is good at. I don't think AI is good at everything, but I think that AI is going to be really effective in counterintelligence, mis and disinformation. And counterintelligence includes mis and disinformation, because counterintelligence is the opposite of intelligence. Intelligence is the signal. Counterintelligence is noise. So if I don't want you to get the signal, I'm going to jam the signal with noise. That's what counterintelligence is. And, I don't know if these people are creating this stuff just to be funny, or if this is really counterintelligence to get people thrown off of the signal. And I played this in the last podcast. It's AI. It's 100% noise. It's not the signal. But the reason that I was, ready to believe this, even though I should have known that it was fake from the beginning, my brother called, or we were texting immediately after he had watched it, and he's like, that could be AI. And then I went and I looked, and sure enough, it's AI. But more to the fact that it is counterintelligence. It's disinformation to throw you off of the signal, because the craft is very real. Even though this is not real, the craft is very real. And why was I so ready to believe that Madonna was, doing a spell on the floor with the goat of Mendes and candles? Why was I so ready to believe that? Because Madonna did a Super Bowl show where she basically performed as Baphomet. Madonna. You guys remember that? I mean, her name is Madonna. For God's sake. The Madonna. So that's why I was ready to believe that fake AI. But this is the signal right here. This is the signal. This is who Madonna has been her entire life. This is Madonna. I guess it was last year during the Grammys. And she came out and she introduced the artist Sam, I think his name is Sam Harris. I want you to listen to what Madonna says when she introduces Sam Harris. Take a listen. This is the signal.
I'm here to give thanks to all the rebels out there.
All the rebels. Now, who is she talking about when she says all the rebels? Let's go here. Rules for Radicals. Now, this book is like the Bible to leftists, leftist agitators. Rules for Radicals was written by Saul Alinsky. And one of these days, I'm going to take you guys through the rules. This is a few of them right here. Let's expand this for you guys. This is the rules. These are the rules. 13 rules. 13, by the way. Power is not only what you have, but what your enemy thinks you have. Never go outside the expertise of your people. Whenever possible, go outside the expertise of the enemy. Make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. Its own. Well, who do you think this is targeted to? Number 4, make the enemy live by its own book of rules. It's so funny when you'll see people who are calling out people on their faith, people who claim to be Christians, and they're not perfect by any means, but no one is, but they make a mistake or something, and you have people who are atheists calling out people who are, people of faith and who live by a book of rules, when these people don't live by any book of rules. If they lived by any book of rules, it would be this book of rules, Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. But something interesting in Saul Alinsky's Book of Radicals is this dedication in the beginning of the book. This dedication that Saul Alinsky puts in the beginning of his book. At least we all forget at least an over-the-shoulder acknowledgement to the very first radical from all our legends, mythologies, and history, and who is known and who knows where mythology leaves off and history begins, or which is which. Which is which. 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 Which is which. And who is to know where mythology leaves off and history begins, or which is which? The first radical known to man who rebelled against the establishment and did it so effectively that he at least won his own kingdom. Lucifer. That's the dedication in the beginning of Rules for Radicals. All right, so let's go back to Madonna introducing Hellboy, Sam Smith, and we're going to look at Sam Smith's performance, okay?
I'm here to give thanks to all the rebels out there forging a new path and taking the heat for all of it. You guys need to know, all you troublemakers out there, you need to know that your fearlessness does not go unnoticed. You are seen, you are heard, and most of all, you are appreciated.
So she says rebels, radicals. I think that's, I just think that it's interesting. I just wanted to put that together. But after giving that little introduction, she introduces this performance. Take a look.
Kim Petras and Sam Smith had an epic night at the 2023 Grammys. The duo hit the stage to deliver a majorly racy performance of their hit song Unholy. Kim was seen on stage in a cage surrounded by dancers with whips. Sam rocked a bright red top hat with horns while belting out the song for the audience, and the crowd went wild for their performance.
So when I see this, it's counterintelligence, 100% counterintelligence. When I see this, I'm more apt to bite on this noise because I've seen the signal. I know what the signal is. This is the signal, people.
Kim Petras and Sam Smith had an epic...
All right, so let's get into Beyonce. Why was I so quick to believe Beyonce was participating in The Craft and also a bit on the Beyonce part of that counterintelligence? Well, Beyonce has a alter ego. And Beyonce's alter ego is called Sasha Fierce. Make sure you guys can see this. Hold on. Let's expand again. Sasha Fierce is Beyonce's alter ego. It says Sasha Fierce is a fearless, confident alter ego of pop star Beyonce, who created her in 2008 to express a different side of her personality. Sasha Fierce made her debut in the iconic music video Single Ladies, where she showed off her dance moves and attitude in a in a black leotard and glove. Okay, hold on. Beyonce says Sasha Fierce takes over, possesses, takes over when she performs on stage, giving her the energy and the charisma to wow the crowds and deliver powerful vocals. Okay. Sasha Fierce also has her own album, I Am Sasha Fierce. Okay, so let's look at Beyonce's husband, who goes by the name Hova. Jay-Z's nickname Hova, actually short for Jehovah, which is a play on the name Jehovah, another name for God. This is what he calls himself, God. So are Beyonce and Hova into the craft? Are they? What's this hand symbol that Beyonce's making here? Here's Beyonce wearing a ring. Look at this right here. Look at that ring. That's Baphomet. That's a Baphomet ring. She's wearing it right here too. Baphomet. That's Baphomet. That's a Baphomet ring right there. Okay? Beyonce. So that's why I was quick to bite on this counterintelligence, this misinformation, is because this is the signal. This is the signal. That's why I was quick to bite on that. You guys remember this sweatshirt that Jay-Z took a picture in? Do what thy wilt. Remember I talked to you about Aleister Crowley in the last podcast? Do what thy wilt is the law of Thelema. We talked about him creating the religion of Thelema, this witch right here. He's the one, he didn't coin do what I will. Do what thy wilt was coined by St. Augustine, actually. But Crowley, he adopted it as the law of Thelema. Jay-Z wearing do what thy wilt on his, here, let me make sure you guys can see this. And let's get it. Let's get it up. Get it up. What's going on here? Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. There we go. I was pushing the wrong button. Do what thy wilt. That's Beyonce's husband. It's the law of Thelema. I want you to listen to Beyonce here talk about when Sasha Fierce, the very first time that Sasha Fierce possesses her body. Take a look.
It was way better than I expected, and Sasha was in full effect. Sasha is my alter ego. And when people see me, sometimes I think that when they meet me and they speak with me, they're expecting Sasha. And I'm really kind of shy, and not really shy, but more reserved, and nothing like Sasha. But I guess I wouldn't be very entertaining on the stage. So Sasha comes out and she's fearless. You know, she can do things that I cannot do when I'm in rehearsal. I mean, I can try, but then it just doesn't happen. I can sing notes and sing strong and do all these things that when I'm just by myself, I can't do. And I remember right before I performed, I raised my hands up, and it was kind of the first time I felt something else come into me.
Possession.
And
that's called-
I knew that was gonna be my coming out night.
So she's talking about spiritual possession, that she feels something enter her and come inside of her and take over her. That's possession. And in essence, when you see all of this, what I'm presenting to you shouldn't surprise anyone. The Craft has been all over music since the beginning of music. You can name, especially going back to like in the 1980s with the metal bands, they all embraced the Craft. Black Sabbath embraced the Craft. So many other, musicians. The fact that the Craft is part of music shouldn't surprise anyone, because the word music in itself means what Beyonce is talking about here. The music comes from the root, the muse. The muse were Greek gods that would possess people and take over their bodies and give them the inspiration to be creative, to do whatever that they were doing in the creative sphere comes from the muse. That it wasn't me creating this is the muse creating it through me. This is what Beyonce is talking about. It's not me dancing and singing. This is Sasha Fierce doing it through me. That's what the word music means. Muse is the root word for not only music, but museum. And what's another word that museum, music, musical. It all comes from the root, the muse, the Greek gods, the muse. So that's why I was quick to believe that Beyonce was doing the Craft in that fake counterintelligence video, that AI video, that noise. That's noise. This is the signal. This is Jay-Z. He is a Freemason like Aleister Crowley. So he's not only into the Craft like Aleister Crowley and like Aleister Crowley, he's a Freemason like Aleister Crowley. And we'll get deeper into them. Now, this hand signal that I was asking about, what's this hand signal about? Another video, or these guys are all doing it. What's that about? What's that hand signal about? I'm not sure what it's about, but I know that it can't be good if you got Anton LaVey doing the same hand signal. Can't be good. I don't know what that hand signal means, but if you got Anton LaVey doing it, the same hand signal, it makes me wonder what this is, because Anton LaVey is a Satanist. He's a wicked witch. He believes in the Craft. Go to Mindy's right there. So that video that I played, the AI video, is the noise. This is the signal. Let's do one more before we get into some other stuff. How about Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift. Now, she wasn't in the fake counterintelligence video, but I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit more of how the Craft is ingrained in music and in our culture. And we'll get into talking about some more of this stuff. But Taylor Swift's newest Willow remix is For All the Lonely Witches, Billboard. So she's being accused of being a witch. And Taylor Swift accused of promoting witchcraft and Satanism on tour. This just recently happened on her recent tour. And some videos went viral of her performance, things that she was doing on stage, and people started calling her a witch and saying that she was doing sorcery. We'll come back to that one. How about this one? Taylor Swift responds to witchcraft taunts with extraordinary video. That's what that says. And the video that she responds to, well, first of all, let's go and look at let's see here. Look at the post that she made. She posted this on Instagram. Let me expand this for you guys. And this was leading to some of the speculation. She says, witches be like sometimes, witches be like, quote, sometimes I just want to listen to music while pinning away, sulking, staring out a window, and then end quote. It's me. I'm witches. Never fear, the Willow Longley Witch remix is here. So she's putting out stuff like that, and she's kind of feeding into this whole narrative that she's a witch, and people are talking about it, calling her a witch. This is what her stage set looks like. Serpents, snakes. So she's feeding into it. I don't know if she's a witch or not, but she's totally feeding into it. And then, again, this article, Taylor Swift responds to witchcraft taunts with extraordinary video. So I don't know if this is misinformation and counterintelligence, or if she's a witch or not, but she's really embracing it. And then she tweets this out, and it says, never beating the sorcery allegations. This is her tweeting this out, never beating the sorcery allegations. Hold on. And this is the video that she tweeted out with it. Take a look. So the lyrics are, while this plane, I'm falling in love while this plane is going down. So someone turns the camera to a plane landing. I mean, it's like, oh, I'm magic. I made the plane land while I'm saying this lyric. It's a clown show, but she's feeding into it. She's totally feeding into this whole witch thing. And I just think that it is very interesting. But so this whole, the craft is very secretive. That's one of the major things about the craft that I want to point out to you. And the reason why I'm doing this is because these people want to remain in the shadows and be secretive. They want to do little, hand gestures and secret symbols to themselves that they only know about, but you don't know what they're doing. And I think that it is something that you got to know about, because it's a lot more than just these benign little signs and things like that. These people have very wicked intentions. Not all of them. Not everyone who is participating in the craft is an evil person per se, or has evil intentions. But when you start getting to some of these higher levels, and we're going to talk about it, these people are participating in the craft, and they are wicked, and they are evil, and they have evil intentions. Now, one of my favorite things of 2024 already that has happened was this interview with Cat Williams that he did with Shannon Sharp the other day. And man, he let a lot of cats out of the bag. A lot of cats out of the bag about Hollywood, about a lot of people in Hollywood. I mean, if you didn't know that Hollywood was a disgusting place, then I mean, where have you been? But I want you to listen to some of these things that Cat Williams says about Hollywood and people in Hollywood.
know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with, don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't. Wow.
So, and then this one, take a listen.
Are you related to Luda?
No, so there was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing, and it had to be one or the other of us, and decisions had to be made. So it was both of us, we were equal. One of us had to cut off all their hair and couldn't do the sideburn thing no more with the points. And the next person, they said, was going to get $200 million because they were going to pay him $10 million a movie to do 20 movies. And that's how the conversation happened. One of those persons turned out to be Ludacris, and the other person turned out to be Cat Williams. Now, one person ended up with a light-skinned, ugly-faced wife that's never done it. Remember I told you that if I say that, it applied to 7 people? Yeah. It's part of what they give you. Okay? I didn't get it. I'm not mad about it.
How much money they give?
Oh man. So this is one of my favorite, of the, clips from the Cat Williams interview. And if you haven't seen this interview, you have got to watch it, but take a listen to what he says here.
I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the...
I love that line right there. Race is not the line that is God's side or the other side and the other side. It's God's side and the other side. I love what he says right there. That race is not the line. That they have us divided on race. And who are the people that have us divided on race? These witches, these warlocks. The evil witches and warlocks that have wicked intentions and wicked goals for our world. They want us divided on race. But Cat Williams says race is not the line. It's God's side.
Why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.G. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
The truth is the light. The truth is the light. The truth is the light. That's what we're doing here on According to Sam. The truth is the light. The truth is the light. Man. So yeah, I play that because I want you to understand that these people who are participating in the craft, it's all about secrecy for them. Now, if you talk to some of these people, the people who are not, rich and powerful, and they just like, participating in the craft in their day-to-day lives, just your day-to-day witch, and you talk to them and about their secrecy, and they say, we have to be secret because you Christians, you persecuted us, the Salem witch trials, and through the Middle Ages that you drove us underground. I was explaining in the last podcast about the occult, that the word the occult only means to be hidden, to be secret. And that Christianity was once the occult, that in the early part of the Roman Empire, in the first 3 centuries, that when, the Diocletian persecutions were going on and, persecutions, on throughout the East and the West of Christians for practicing their faith, they had to practice their faith in secret. They were the occult. But when Christianity started to become the dominant religion, then what we call the occult, the craft, had to go into secret. And so that's what they'll tell you, is that you drove us into secrecy. But a lot of the powerful, and when I say powerful, I'm talking about powerful as far as running the world, these people who are participating in the craft, who have very wicked intentions for all of humanity, that's when their secrecy becomes a detriment to humanity. That's why, like Cat Williams says, that the truth is the light. That's why I have to come out and I have to expose these people in their secrecy, because they're using their secrecy for to dominate us, to keep us in slavery. So secrecy is very important to them. And manipulation as well. Those two things, secrecy and manipulation. That is what the craft is all about, is about manipulation. If you're using magic and sorcery to manipulate time and space, to manipulate people, manipulation is essentially what the craft is about. And, some of them are using the craft to manipulate time and space. And the most powerful ones that I'm talking about that are running the world and using the craft, they're using the craft to manipulate all of us. That is what Satan did. The serpent, who was more crafty than any of the wild animals God had made, he manipulated the man and the woman and got them to eat the fruit of the tree. That in essence, the craft is about manipulation. I want to play this clip. Now, this is a clip of the speech that John Kennedy, JFK, gave just a few months after he was sworn in. This was after the Bay of Pigs incident, and he realized that his CIA was being run by a bunch of criminals. He fires Allen Dulles and all the heads of the CIA, and Kennedy gives this speech at the press club in New York shortly after taking office, and all those things that I just mentioned happened. And he says this, take a listen.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths.
Secret oaths. What's a secret oath, people? Well, we know what an oath is, right? An oath is what you do if you join the military. There's some jobs that require you to take an oath. If you're an elected official, a mayor, a president, a senator, you have to take an oath. An oath. But that's a public oath. That's an oath that you do in front of the world, in front of everybody knows of that oath. But what is Kennedy talking about here when he's talking about secret oaths? Take a listen.
And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
And then he goes on to say this, take a listen.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence.
That relies primarily on covert means in expanding its sphere of influence. We are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on secrecy, on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence.
The world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
There it is again. No secret is revealed. No secret is revealed. The secrecy is what all this stuff is. I mean, that allows them to get away with it, the secrecy. And that's what the sorcery is about creating a veil of secrecy. That's how they get away with this, is by using sorcery to create a veil of secrecy. Now, some people will tell you, well, he's talking about communism. Talking about communism, a monolithic conspiracy around the world. Why is he talking about secret oaths and that we're against secrecy and secret oaths? Why is he talking about this? They blew this guy's head off in front of everybody. Why is he talking about this? You guys remember George Bush? You guys remember in 2004 when he ran against his Skull and Bones fraternity brother, John Kerry? Do you guys remember when he was on Meet the Press with Tim Russert and Tim Russert asked him about Skull and Bones? What did he say?
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society. It's so secret we can't talk about it.
It's so secret we can't talk about it. I mean, I'm actually wondering if I should be talking about it on According to Sam when you know what happened to Tim Russert. Tim Russert didn't live very long after that. It's so secret you can't talk about it. So secret.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society. It's so secret we can't talk about it. What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go on.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322.
First of all, he's not the nominee, and look, I look forward.
Are you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret.
It's a secret. John Kerry says it's a secret. Doesn't tell us much. We shouldn't even be talking about this, Tim Russert, is what John Kerry. We can't talk. So these guys ran together, the fraternity brothers, in a secret society, very dark secret society at Yale. So secret that we can't even talk about it. And these guys are running together as two puppets in the 2004 election. This is what I'm talking about, people. This is what I'm talking about. Now, let's get into Harry Potter. We have a little bit more time. We're going to finish up talking about Harry Potter because Harry Potter is a great set of books, movies to use as a resource to explain the craft to you, because the craft is all over the Harry Potter books. This is what the Harry Potter franchise is about. It's about the craft and introducing the craft to your children at a very young age, and a little playful way to introduce the craft to your children at a very young age. That's what Harry Potter is about. And if you know anything about Harry Potter, you know that the craft real elements of the craft are all over Harry Potter. Now, I want to talk about this concept in Harry Potter. First of all, let's expand this so you guys can see. Non-magic people. The word for non-magic people in Harry Potter, they called them, you can see it right here, muggles. Non-magic people, commonly known as muggles. So muggles, or who they call mudbloods, are people who are not initiated, who are not part of the craft. You know, people like you, people like me, people who don't participate in the craft, who are not magical people, who are not in that world, who don't understand the terminology, the symbols, the sorcery, then you are considered a muggle. You're a mudblood. And the sorcerers, these witches, they believe that there is this war, a lot of them, especially those in the upper echelons who I'm talking about, who, have aims of ruling the world and making slaves of all of us. There's this war between the muggles and those who are initiated into the craft. I think about the movie. Remember the movie They Live with Roddy Piper, and he'd put these glasses on and he could see the skeleton faces of these people. I think of, people, like me who understand this stuff and are not initiated. We're like, the Roddy Piper character in They Live. You want everybody to put the glasses on. I want you to see these guys, but we are considered muggles in the Harry Potter novel, the Mudbloods, and we are not initiated. We're not part of the craft. So there's this war that is going on between the non-magic people and the magic people. And again, they take it back to the Salem witch trials and how witches and people who were in the occult and the craft were treated through the Middle Ages. And some of them want revenge. I'm going to take a look at some of these videos.
Hello, I'm Isaac from Want So Videos, where we discuss fun topics for fun people. And today I'm going to figure out why wizards hide from muggles. The persecution of witches and wizards across Europe had been growing since the early 1400s. Revealing magic in any way to Muggle kind held major consequences in these days, including imprisonment and frequently sentencing to death. And while some, like Lisette de la Pin, were able to magically escape, others, like Nearly Headless Nick, were stripped of their wands with no way to escape, even with magic. During these dangerous times, wizarding families were forced to go into hiding and live double lives to avoid having themselves burned at the stake using charms of concealment. And this is also when wizards truly began to openly hate muggles and wizards who supported them. Wizards who were pro-muggle were called mud-wallowers or dung-lickers or scum-suckers. Now, being hunted down is terrible, but how did the wizarding community begin to lean towards hiding all witches and wizards from the muggle world? Well, it wasn't just magical adults muggles were hunting. Anyone using magic, regardless of the age, was feared and punished, yielding many young wizards to be widely persecuted without proper training to restrain and hide their powers. And
so there is a lot of truth to this history. A lot of throughout the Middle Ages, and we know about the Salem witch trials. Through a lot of this time, people were burnt at the stake for being witches. They were drowned. They had to participate in the craft in secrecy and privacy again, but it created this kind of conflict between the muggles, the mudbloods, people like us, and the people who participate in the craft.
Today, we're going to be looking at muggle wizard affairs throughout history. When we crack open our history books and take a look at famous events and conflicts between muggles and the wizarding world, you might be surprised at what you find. Before the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy, which was established in the year 1692, wizards weren't exactly unknown. Although, even at that time, many considered the concept of witches and wizards outlandish, there were plenty of people who had first-hand experience with members of the wizarding world. In fact, in different corners of the world, at varying times, entire countries were swept into anti-magic crazes that threatened to destroy almost every magic-using man, woman, and child in their community. I want to get to the part where he says... Today, we're going to take a look at some of these events. In the official history of the wizarding world, the earliest date document.
It's all about secrecy. It's all about secrecy. I was looking for this one video that I was watching where they explain how, not all wizards and witches who participate in the craft want to dominate the muggles, the mudbloods, the uninitiated. Not all of them want to dominate us, and who are, seeking to use their power in government, their power in business, their power in academia, their power in wherever, they have the power. There are a group of these, people who are participating in the craft who want to use that power to dominate us, but not all people who participate in the craft want to use power to dominate us. Okay, I've said that. Now, let's finish up. We have a little bit more time here. I want to finish up looking at some of these characters from Harry Potter, the main characters, and looking at their wands, because the wand is the instrument for the sorcery. You use the wand to do the craft. The wand is very, very important in doing the craft. It's the instrument that the witches use to do the craft. And Ron here, he's one of the main characters in Harry Potter. And you go down here and you look at Ron's wand. Hold on, let's move this over so you can see. I think that's big enough, but here, let's make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Hold on. Give me a moment. Do this. Okay. Right here. So it tells you this is a little fandom page that has everything Harry Potter in it. And it's got, all the characters, their backstories, what type of magic they're good at, what type of wand they use. And if you see here, the wand that Ron uses is an ash wand. It comes from the ash tree. It says unicorn tail hair, which there's no such thing as a unicorn. That's not real. But an ash tree is real. See that? European ash, common ash. This is an ash tree. So Ron's wand is made out of a real tree called the ash tree. Okay? Now let's look at the next. Hermione. Hermione is another of the major characters. Now, Hermione's wand, we'll go down here and look at it. There it is right there. Hermione's wand is made of vine. And it's got dragon heartstring. Dragon heartstring isn't real, but a vine isn't real. Is real. I'm not going to even waste time showing you what a vine is. We know what a vine is. A vine is, where we get grapes, where we get, wine. So her wand is made out of vine. And then we have Voldemort. Voldemort is he's one of the most powerful wizards, but he's the bad guy. He does dark magic. Harry Potter and the good wizards, they do good magic. And the ones like Voldemort, they do bad magic, black magic. And if you go down here and you look at his wand, it's made from the yew, and it's got phoenix feather core inside, phoenix feather in the core inside. But the phoenix feather is not real, but the yew tree is real. Is real. Common yew. English yew. This is what, so Voldemort's wand is made of yew. Let's go to Harry Potter. The main character, Harry Potter. He's one of the most powerful wizards. And what type of tree is Harry Potter's wand made out of? Let's take a look here. Ah, you guys see that? I'm not going to even tell you. Yeah, I don't want you to see it. I want you to see it. There it is right there. Wand, 11-inch holly. Also phoenix feather. It's got phoenix feather in it as well, but it's made of the holly tree. The phoenix feather is not real, but the holly tree is real. And this is the holly tree. Holly. It's a species of tree. Now, all the most powerful wizards, their wand comes from the holly tree. You know what kind of wood you get from the holly tree? Hollywood. Now, why would these people name this town where they're putting together all of this sorcery Hollywood? They actually named it when they first invented it. They named it Hollywood Land, but the land fell off. And now it's just called Hollywood. Hollywood is the wand. Hollywood is where the sorcery to create the veil of secrecy takes place. Hollywood is at the center of this sorcery. And we're going to talk more about this in episode 175 on Monday. We're going to get into a little bit of Joe Biden's speech as well, because I know that that's going to be interesting. And I'll see you guys on Monday. You guys have a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed it.